Yo, what is up guys? Guido here, back again with another mini bike revamp video. We are continuing the mini bike revamp series on my first mini bike that I ever built. A little backstory, I'm mainly just doing this just because I want to switch up some stuff cosmetically, but I also need to fix my valve guides. My valve guides in my head actually came loose just from poor fitment. So I have a brand new head that I'm going to be installing, and it's got brand new professionally installed valve guides. So that's the main issue for this whole revamp saga. But I also wanted to switch some stuff up. And previously when I built this bike a few years ago or whatnot, I didn't have all the tools or experience that I do now. So I want to go back and make sure everything is torque to spec and everything is, you know, what it's supposed to be. So in this video, I am actually going to be draining all the oil in this motor because it needs to be done anyways, and I'm going to be replacing my side cover gasket because this one has a small little leak in it. While I'm doing that though, I'm going to go ahead and check the internals of the motor, make sure everything is nice and, you know, to spec, make sure there's not any excess wear or anything that looks, you know, out of place or whatnot like that. And then I'm going to be installing everything with some new Allen head hardware, just to kind of give the motor a really nice look, I think, and just to refresh it with some new hardware and stuff like that. So with all that being said, let's just get straight into this video. If you watched my last video on this, you guys will see that we pretty much disassembled this whole motor. We went and lapped our flywheel again, made sure our coil was in spec, and also painted the block and did some touch-ups that I needed to do. So with all that being said, let's get started on working on the internals of this motor. So now the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to start by draining the oil on this first before I take my side cover off and replace my side cover gasket. While I take that side cover off, I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is all the way it needs to be. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. Make sure there's no, you know, big oil sludge or anything like that. Also make sure there's not excess wear anywhere. And like I said, make sure those rod end cap bolts are tight, because obviously you don't want that stuff coming loose. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil on this. I got my 10 mil here, and I'm just going to crack that drain bolt loose. Alright, so breaking that bolt loose, go ahead and drain my oil here. Alright, now since majority of that oil is all drained up, go ahead, clean this all up here. Alright, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to remove this side cover here. So now they all just take these 10 millimeter bolts here, and there's 6 of them. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this so that I can make sure everything all inside is all copacetic, like I already mentioned, and also to replace this side cover gasket, because I've noticed I've been kind of getting a little bit of a leak around this, like the bottom section here, so I'm thinking it's probably a bad side cover. I'm going to go ahead and just loosen these bolts here. Alright, and just like that, all 6 of the bolts are removed. So now this should be able to just come on out. And just like that, it comes off. And you can pretty much see where the oil was seeping past there. I'm guessing that gasket is just not the best. And you can see, not too bad for a motor that's got quite a bit of miles on it. Not too bad. Seems like it's all lubricated well. Looks good. I don't see any issues. Cam looks good. No issues with the cam there. Perfect. Yeah, looks good. Looks like it is 100% perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just remove the spark plug, just so I'm able to turn the motor over pretty freely. Alright, so the rod bolts get torqued to 170 inch-pounds. So I'm starting with 100 right here. I just want to make sure this is tight. Alright, we are set on 170 inch-pounds. I'm going to start with this top one first. Nice and tight there. And this one, nice and tight there. Perfect. Now that we know the rod is all nice and tight, just a little quick thing I wanted to check up on real quick. I can go ahead and reinstall my cam here, and as you can see, this thing is literally in mint condition. It looks brand new. So I'm gonna go ahead get this thing lined up in here. Gotta line up the timing marks. And you can see the timing marks line up 100% perfect. Now I just made sure the gasket mating surface was nice and clean. Now here is the side cover. I'm gonna take this old gasket off. Alright, and since the mating surface is all clean, all ready to go on the block here, and also on my cover here, my side cover, I can go ahead and reinstall it all together. So I'm taking my new gasket here, and I'm just lining up my bolts to go on through and kind of just hold the gasket in place while I push this on. Just like that. And she's all installed. Now I can just go ahead and tighten down my new bolts. I'm just going to go ahead and just snug them up real quick. So now what I'm going to do is, since they're all snug, I'm going to go ahead and torque all these down to 204 inch-pounds or 17 foot-pounds. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and fill this thing up with oil. This is the oil I am going to run in here. 10W30, that's what this motor calls from the factory. But this is, I think, a little bit better than your regular run-of-the-mill stuff. It's bivalvoline, full synthetic, and as you see racing in classic cars, I actually read up about this oil. This oil is really good for flat top motors, or either motors that are that have push rods and stuff like that, like single cylinder, kind of your run-of-the-mill garden motors, if you will. But this is going to be on a mini bike motor, of course, Predator 212. So this stuff is perfect for your, you know, drag mini bikes, whatever you're running, methanol, your crazy builds. This stuff's perfect because it has 2 times the amount of zinc as a regular Pennzoil full synthetic wood or whatnot, because that's what I used to use. So I think this is going to be a little bit better for the mini bike motors. Hopefully it'll make them last a lot longer. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in exactly half a quart of this stuff. These motors take pretty close to half a quart. Alright, and you can see this motor is completely level. That's all the way up to where it needs to be. Absolutely perfect. And just like that, she's got oil and she's ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove this valve cover. Something that is nice about this new head I'm going to be installing, all 4 of these valve cover bolts are, or the threads are all going to be brand new. People that know these motors, the threads on this valve cover here are notorious for stripping, just because what happens is the gasket goes bad, it starts to leak, so you want to start to tighten it even more, and then boom, it strips just like that. So as you can pretty much see, I am running like 2 Allen bolts here, a different Allen bolt down here, and then a regular hex head bolt here. So that just shows I'm running a bunch of different stuff because all the holes were all stripped and it messed up everything. So now I'm able to actually have new threads, and it'll be nice having all the same Allen bolts in there now. I'm also going to be putting on a brand new valve cover gasket on here as well. Boom. And you can see this gasket is absolutely trashed. It's just really oil soaked and kind of deteriorated. So yeah, obviously that's not the best. So I'm going to be installing a new valve cover gasket, of course. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm just loosening my carburetor, and then I'm going to loosen my manifold here. I just took off one of the nuts that holds this bolt on there, and now I'm doing the same for the other side here with my Allen key and then my 10mm wrench. And just like that, my carburetor can come sliding off. And there we go. Now that that's removed, I can go ahead and remove my 2 Allen bolts here that are going into the intake side. And just like that, those are out. Now this manifold can come off. And then this gasket I'm just going to leave on there because this whole head's going to come off. There's no point. And now I can go ahead and remove all of the head bolts. So I'm just going to go ahead and impact these 4 head bolts loose with my impact gun here. There's that one. All right, and now my head can just come straight off just like that. And then I am going to be reusing this head gasket as well. And this right here is a higher compression 10 thousandths head gasket here. So now pretty much what you have to do is swap all of my good parts on here, my valves, my valve springs, and my retainers onto the new head. All right, and with that, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and you guys stay tuned. I know I'm cutting this video kind of short. It's only at 10 minutes, but I also don't want this video to be really drug along and have it be like 20 minutes or whatnot. So make sure you guys stay tuned. You guys comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video that's going to be coming out, because the next video is going to be installing our new head, installing our new upgraded rocker arms that I got for this build, giving you guys all the technical specifications and tips and tricks on how to do the job the best and the correct way. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss that. Here is a sneak peek of what this motor is going to look like at the very end. This thing looks awesome. Just from a few, subtle changes, I think this is really going to make the bike pop and really, make it look really, really nice. So make sure you guys stay tuned. You don't want to miss the end of this series. We still have quite a few more videos to go, just with the motor itself, and also the bike itself, the stuff that we're going to be doing to the bike. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.